give them money to participate. Then at that point, they needed to ask the clubs to please send in your money to Rotary International. And they're kind of having a hard time getting a reaction back from the clubs. And we understand lots going on. But if you could check, and if you get an email from someone asking you to go ahead and submit your global grant money to Rotary International, please do that immediately, because that way the grant can get started. Okay, my end of comment for the global grant section. All right. And let's see, I have to actually get my wonderful little PowerPoint up here. Sorry about that. I was having
no problem. You're doing great.
Let's see.
For you guys who are just joining us, this is Laura Steelquist, who is speaking. She's our former district governor and the head of all of our foundation grants in our district. And if you just missed Murray and Mark's presentation, it was recorded, and it will be posted up on the district YouTube channel.
Wait.
Okay.
No, I just have to get back into Zoom now.
Okay.
It must be down there someplace. There it is. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So now I will go ahead and share my screen.
Okay.
Yep. I guess I am sharing my screen. Okay.
Yeah, I think it might take a second to get up there. I know Mark had a similar issue with his, so.
Are you up? Is it up?
Not yet.
Okay, let me go back. Okay, I'm seeing Vixen's picture. I'm just not getting the.
Yeah,
I'm just not getting the share screen button coming up. That's
okay.
Great. So let me go ahead and minimize this.
Have you hit your share screen now? Have you hit it?
And now, yeah. Okay, there we go.
Okay, there we go.
Now it's coming.
Yeah.
All right, you got it. You're on.
Why, thank you so much. You know,
looking good.
That's because I didn't take advantage of the. If you need to, feel free to call me and I'll help you practice this yesterday.
Okay.
But like everybody else, yesterday was an interesting day, wasn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
Like that. Anyway, as everybody knows, this grants management seminar is something that is absolutely required every single year. And if you remember last year, what did we do? We started off by saying, why? So this year we thought we'd show you a picture of Simon so you could see the guy who's asking us to all say why. Does anybody, well, you know what, we're gonna do all those questions at the end. So be thinking about it or go into chat and put down why you think we need to be doing this grant seminar again. One of the basic reasons is because it's in Rotary strategic priorities and objectives. We want to increase our impact, expand our reach, enhance participant engagement, and increase our ability to adapt. And we do this by the fact that the money that people give to the Rotary Foundation to be used for grants is used for grants. You're all familiar with Charity Navigator. Rotary is Charity Navigator's partner organization with an overall score and rating of 4 stars. And we have had that for the last 14 years. Think about that. Why does that make a difference? Put that answer down if you want to. Two kinds of grants, as you know, district grants, global grants. You just had a really thorough presentation on global grants and our international appeal. So we're going to concentrate a little bit more on district grants in this, but understand you have to be qualified, you have to be aware of all of the stewardship opportunities for global grants as much as you are for district grants. Okay, what's the difference between a district grant and a global grant? Well, as Murray and Mark said, a global grant you have to has a $30,000 minimum on it. The district grant that we turn around as a district and award to our clubs doesn't have a maximum or a minimum. The funding for the global grant comes out of the World Fund and then district designated funds. That's that DDF, people. Sorry, we're going to use that acronym. And then club cash. And the district grants all come from DDF and club cash. The application for the global grant is online. The district grant, we have our own application that you have all filled out. I'll show you all of our district ones after the end of the presentation. The areas of focus, a global grant has to fall within one of those 6 areas of focus, but there's no requirement for the district grant other than that it follows Rotary's underlying principles. The global grant has to have a host club and an international partner club. The district grant, even though you can do international projects, there is no required club participation internationally. You can instead partner with a different organization, or you don't have to have partnerships, although we strongly suggest that you do it. Sustainability is a requirement, measurability is a requirement for the global grants. District grants, while you want to look at it and do a project that's meaningful, you aren't required to document it. And then for scholarships available through the global grant, there's the graduate and the postgraduate work. And district grants, there are scholarships that can be awarded at any level. So a lot of clubs go in and do their HRYF scholarships and get their $5,000, but then they love so many of the students that have applied that they'll go in and give them club scholarships as well, using their district grant funds. So district grants basically are small scale, short term, local or international. They align with the foundation's mission. And again, as Mark said, our district grant is actually one grant that the District 5000 applies to Rotary International and gets our money. This year, it's $88,000 that we are using for district grants. Global grants, I think they did a thorough job of explaining those. If you have any more questions, you can ask them at the end. The areas of focus, they did a fantastic job of going on with that. It's a great way to remind people that Rotary is focused and that we do have specific areas that we are trying to correct throughout the world. A global grant, a great example of that, of a combination actually of the global grant and district grants, was the Bali project that went last year. And the international blood bank part was an international grant that was funded and completed. And to celebrate that opening of the blood bank and the things that we had contributed to it, many members of District 5000 went along and had applied for district grants to be used while they were in Bali. And we just got the final report in from Diamond Head Kaimoki. Thank you very much, Kelly, for sending that in. So once the project is completed, you fill out your final report and share with everyone the celebration of what's happening. An example of that vocational training team was the Romanian project. Our scholarship on a global grant side was our Global Scholar Ariel. And as I mentioned, there are lots of clubs that are doing district grant scholarships. And now the reason that, that a lot of you are here is because this webinar is also serving as an addendum to our fall seminar, which is the qualification process for clubs. The question is, why? Stewardship. So stewardship is the responsible management and oversight of grant funds, which ensures that funds are used properly and benefit the populations in need. Why is that important? Think about it. In order to have good stewardship, we have to supervise our projects, whether global or local. We have to know what's going on with them. Rotarian involvement. We have to actually implement the projects that are approved. And I have to tell you, having just been through all of the district grant projects, I have to remind people occasionally that this is what you said you would do, and you did something different. So you need to get new approval for the one that you did. We are obligated to report any irregularities that we find either on the global side or on the local side. That's where, you know, all of a sudden Alan over in Hilo decides he needs a new boat. And so instead of the money going for the school project to rebuild the school, you suddenly look up and there's enough money missing that Alan has a new boat. Much as we love Alan, you know what? We're not going to let him have that new boat. So we're counting on one of the other members over there to call up and say, hey, you know, Alan's got a new boat. Let's check it out. Sorry, Alan. I know that wouldn't happen. We ask that you submit your reports in a timely manner. This is on both the global side and on the district grant side. And then you are required to retain your documents for 5 years. So the financial requirements, and I'm sorry this is a lot of words on the screen, but I wanted to be able to post all this up on the website so you can refer to it. You can't disperse funds until your grant application is approved, and for the district grant until you have received your funds and deposited them in your grant account. You have to maintain separate grant bank accounts. One account will do for all of your district grants. You need 2 signatures on any disbursements, either on the check or on a form that gives approval to write the check. And when you submit your final report, you have to submit invoices and proof of payment for all disbursements. So proof of expenditures, you promptly deliver receipts to your club treasurer and tell them to hold on to them for your final report. If there's a difference between the receipt and the invoice, you've got to explain it right then. And then, as I mentioned, you have to retain your records in both physically, hard copy, and electronic form for 5 years. And one of the questions I'll ask at the end is how many clubs actually could put your hands on the records from 5 years ago. And you are also required to do a monthly reconciliation. So when you go into your monthly board meetings at clubs, you should actually have your treasurer telling you what's going on in your grant account. That's something that our auditors are going to start looking for. On global grants, we rarely are managing the funds through a grant account. It's usually the club, it's the club where the grant is happening. But if we do a grant locally, then the same thing, you have to have a separate account for each global grant. All right, there will be an audit of grant records. Ron Young may be on this call. If so, we can ask him questions afterwards. But he and his team are currently auditing last year's grants, and they will very shortly start auditing this year's grants. And the thing they will be asking you for are your application and your final report, your bank statements, your canceled checks, your signature cards, your check registers, invoices and receipts to support the disbursement. So if you did a dictionary project, make sure you've got an invoice from the dictionary showing the dictionaries. It should be part of your final report. And then any bank reconciliations for your grant accounts. Usually we don't have physical assets that are acquired for the grant project, so you don't have to worry about that. But again, if there was any kind of misuse of funds, you have to show a report of that. Thankfully, knock wood, I'm not aware that we have had any that we have had to report. We manage grants through report tracking, routine monitoring, investigating allegations, stewardship seminars, and qualification. Our stewardship chair is past District Governor Phil Sammer. And if there are any questions or any irregularities, he is the one who gets the report from the club. Qualification. Why do we need qualification? Well, first of all, because Rotary International says that all districts and all clubs who receive funds from the Rotary Foundation must be qualified. So our district is qualified each and every year, just like you are. We complete a process online with the current district governor, the incoming district governor, the district Rotary Foundation chair, all have to sign that we will agree to abide by Rotary International's grant process and maintain good stewardship of the funds that we are given. We agree to implement the Memorandum of Understanding, and we are say that we will conduct grant management seminars for the clubs. So that's, thank you, Naomi, for the gorgeous picture. Okay, not so gorgeous picture. Are you all feeling like this about now? Yeah, I thought that was one of the best, you know, oh my God, are we doing this again? But we are. So the club qualification, you agree to implement the Memorandum of Understanding, you attend a grant management seminar, and you complete any other requirements that we have. All of those requirements are on the Rotary District 5000 website. Under the Foundation tab on the right-hand side, as Mark showed you, you click on District Grants, and all of the documents that you need for both the current year and the upcoming year are up there. Feel free to ask any questions that you have at any time. You'll get a full list of all of the people involved in grants at the end. So for district grants, what do you need to do? You need to complete your club qualification, which you guys are all doing. Most importantly, you need to right now complete your final reports on current district grants. Because I've got a couple of minutes, let me just interject here that what we are doing is, because of the COVID situation, we know that there are clubs out there who have district grant projects that required either having a luncheon for Kapuna or required having a large gathering. or required going internationally or sending a student internationally, some reason that you are not going to be able to complete your district grant that you requested at the beginning of the year. We need to know immediately if you are not going to be able to do that. Because what we want to do is we want to repurpose that money. We want you to spend that money. And there are lots and lots and lots of efforts going on right now that need our help. And so it just requires you filling out a new application that says, okay, my $1,000 that I was going to use for an international scholarship, to send an international exchange student to Japan for a week, I am instead going to give to the food bank on Maui. That will be perfectly acceptable. Rotary International has verified that instead of requiring a Rotarian active participation in bagging up the food, if your food bank will allow it, by all means volunteer, but if they won't, RI is okay if we just give them money. The same thing is true in all of the areas, in all of the islands. So please, this has to happen really fast, because we have to redo our entire district grant to show the new projects and get that submitted to Rotary International so that we can then do our final reports and get our money for next year. So if there are questions on that, we can go into it in detail in a couple of minutes. So right now's the time for presidents-elect and the incoming board. I know you're all talking to each other over Zoom. Talk about what you want to do next year for your district grant projects. Talk about what global grant areas you think you might be interested in, and send an email over to Mark Harbison or anybody on the International Service Committee and say, hi, have you got any kind of grants on doing this? Talk about the funding and how you're going to obtain it, the district allocations for the DDF that you're going to have available for both district grants and global grants is also on the website. Just look, ask if you don't understand anything about it. But it will be critical that you are ready to submit your district grant applications on July 1st. The deadline is August 1st. We would like to be able to have our combined grant into Rotary International as fast after August 1st as possible, so that we can get our funds back by September 15th so clubs can start working on your projects. Again, I feel all of this, the reason our district does it the way we do, which is allocating the money back to the clubs, is because it's your members' money. Where did it come from? 3 years ago, your members donated to the Rotary Foundation annual fund share. That money, half of it has now come back to the district. Half of that money is allocated to district grants. The other half goes for our contribution to Polio Plus and for global grants, matching. It's your money. Make sure you spend it. And then we have to have 2 members who are attending either the fall grant management seminar or this spring training. And again, next year, with Benson's help, at long last, we are going to have this up online so that grant management training is available, and a little test is out there so that you can prove that you understand what's going on.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! So global grants, take action. Again, talk about to the committees about what might be going on. Okay, and then feel free to intimidate me with a poll during the presentation.
Yeah.
I'll always attend future meetings. You know how that is.
Cool.
I can get out of any of them, right? So the big important part is these things don't come up until, if you want to start a global grant, even if you've never done one before, this last year we had 2 brand new people who had never done a global grant. With help from members of the international service team and with Mark's help, they were very successful. Actually, they were the first grants that were funded by Rotary International. So it's really great. Go to that global grant template. Don't submit it, but fill it out. It gives you everything that you need to know. The community assessment is critical. Okay. Hello. I seem to have frozen. Okay.
Okay, we can open it up for questions.
And oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Everybody needs positive feedback.
Yes, everybody needs positive feedback. Let me find my unshare the screen, which is okay.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. I've never used the captions,
Yeah, I didn't need to do that. I don't know how I did it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't
know how to turn it off either. So, hey.
I don't know how to do it either, but that's okay. I thought that was pretty cool. Okay. Anybody got any questions for Laura?
Please.
Laura, I have a question.
Yes.
I have your last year's global grant presentation,
Uh-huh.
your PP of last year. The one here is going to be obviously on our district's website, right?
Uh-huh.
But
It is.
can you send me yours so I can pass it on to the rest of the members of our team?
The one from last year, you mean?
No, the current
This
one. This
Sure.
one. Uh-huh.
Sure.
And then, Mark, if I can have your no, wait a minute. I got your presentation. I'll send it to the rest of I got 3 of them. I'll send it to the rest of the members on the team.
I want Laura's as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
send me your PowerPoint. I'll put it up on the website.
It will
Okay.
go out to everybody, and I have to thank Wins Schoeneman for the background, because I said, oh God, I have no time to do this. And he said, I'll do it. I said, thank you. So let's hear it for our friend.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I would like to
I just wanted to show, I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
said
yeah.
I would. Okay, so everybody can see this. These are the district grants. These are the actual hard copies of this year's district grants, the $88,000, okay? And this is so far the final reports that we have received, okay? And I know there's a lot of projects that haven't been done, but there's a lot of projects that have. So if you guys will also help and get your final reports in on the ones that are completed, then that will help us go out, because what we want to do is not wait until May and June. We know there's needs in the community. We want to spend the money that's not going to get used otherwise now. So please help us out this way, okay?
Yeah, those that district grant application that we sent in to the Rotary Foundation is up on the district grants page. So if you'd like to see what your club and other clubs are doing, all 82 grants are on there, so you can see what kind of projects the other clubs are doing.
Yeah, but they're changing right at the moment. But if you need to know what your club had asked to do, because I know sometimes people forget, and I forget. I have them here, I scan them, and I will send them back to anybody who wants to know, what did my club say that they would be doing? And that way you'll know whether you're going to get it done.
Mark, I have a question. Can I pass your presentation today on to our team, or do you want to do it? I can't hear you.
Mark, you gotta unmute.
Are you talking to me or Laura?
No, I'm talking to you. Can I pass your presentation today
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
or do you want to do it? But I can do it.
No, you can do it. You can
Okay,
do it.
I'll do it.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Hey, I got a cut.
Laura,
one
sorry,
question.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Laura. Go ahead, Alan.
You were explaining how some of the unexpended funds that currently are assigned to various projects. How flexible is the redirection of funds? I'm sure the process is pretty easy, but what kinds of things can we redirect it to?
So you redirect it to the same general kinds of things that you have done for your district grants in the past. And the only reason I brought up the idea of the food bank is because for the district grants, one of the things is that Rotary International has always said that you couldn't just write a check to another organization, that there had to be active Rotary involvement. You had to go buy the canned food and give it to them or whatever it is. But because of the situation going on with food banks around the world, okay, they told us that I asked specifically, can we make donations to our local food banks? And they said yes. So that they have gotten that flexible. Do I want you just a check to, well, I don't know. Send it in and we'll talk about it. I haven't yet gotten any redirected funds that have not been absolutely fine. And there are, as Mark mentioned, the disaster relief fund grant that we applied for. We have not gotten it yet because the money ran out, but they are reallocating more money. And so hopefully our grant will be considered for the next one. We divided up the $25,000 into five $5,000 grants on each island. But there were lots of other applications that did not get approved for that process, so that there are clubs out there who have great ideas of things to do to help with this COVID-19 disaster that are looking for funds. We will ask permission to put them up on the website. If they say yes, then Mark, maybe we can put some of those other RANs up on the website if they're going to continue them. And then that will be a place you can look at. But otherwise, it's really flexible as far as the redirection of the funds. The amazing thing, most important thing is that we have to know, because when we submit that redone district grant to Cecilia, we have to have everything on it one time instead of doing it over and over and over again.
Laura?
Yes.
One question that I see that's a good one. Do applications and reports have to be submitted in hard copy?
No, and I was about to answer that one, but I couldn't figure out how to answer that. So, I mean, how to actually type it in. No, you may email them in, you may fax them in, you may send them to me in, and I'm sorry, right this minute, Kelly Myers is our district grant coordinator, all right, and she will be again next year. So next year's applications, August 1st, will go to Kelly with the CC to Mark and me. But right this minute, for all of these changes, please send them to me. That's laura@highmed.cc. That's the email. That's the easiest way. But if you need to fax